السلام عليكم. لا تنسوا الاعجاب بالفيديو والاشتراك في القناة تشجيعا لنا لنستمر بنشر المزيد إن شاء الله.
Chapter 6. My Final Home. Jerry knew the woman, Mrs. Fowler, who was always very kind. When we arrived outside her house, she said to Jerry, "If ever you have any problems, tell me. I can always find work for a good driver, and I know you are one of the best." There were problems in Jerry's life. Winter came, and soon there was a holiday for New Year. However, there was no holiday for the taxi drivers. We had a lot of work to do, taking people from house to house. One evening, Jerry was asked to take home a rich man from a large house in the west of London. He was asked to wait outside the house until the man was ready. It was very cold, and there was snow in the air. We waited for more than an hour before the man finally came outside. He did not apologize and was angry when he had to give Jerry money for the time he waited outside in the street. This man changed our lives forever. When we finally arrived home that night, I was very cold and tired, but Jerry was worse. He coughed all the time. The next day, Harry came to feed me, but I was not put in the carriage. The same happened for 2 more days. I knew Jerry was very ill. Jerry slowly recovered, but the doctor told him not to drive taxis any more if he wanted to stay healthy. So, Polly wrote to Mrs. Fowler and asked if she had any work for Jerry. A few days later, Mrs. Fowler wrote back. She wanted Jerry to work for her and said that the family could move to a small cottage near her house. This was very good news for the family, but bad news for me. I knew that they would sell me, and I was becoming old. Would I ever have such a happy home again? I was sold to another taxi driver called Skinner. I am sure that this was the same man who made Ginger so weak and sad. We worked 7 days a week, and I never had a good rest or enough to eat. One day we waited outside a station for a train to arrive. A family of 4 asked Skinner to take them home with all their luggage. The daughter peered at me and said, "I don't think this poor horse can carry us and all our bags. He looks very weak." "He'll be fine," cried Skinner. "Don't worry about him." I tried to pull the carriage as fast as I could, but I was weak because I was given no breakfast. I wanted to go quickly, but when we started to climb a hill, I knew that I did not have enough energy. I thought that I could not breathe, and suddenly fell onto the ground. I could not move, and I was sure that I was going to die. After some time, someone gave me water, and I slowly stood up. I was taken inside and given some food. A vet came to look at me and told Skinner that I needed good food and rest. But Skinner said that I was no good if I couldn't work. He decided to sell me. When I was well enough to travel, I was taken to another market for horses outside London. Once again, I was with horses of all ages and sizes. This time I was put with the horses that were old or ill-looking. I did not think anyone would want to buy me now. The people who looked at me were also very poor and wanted to buy a horse for as little money as possible. However, not all of the men were poor. An old farmer with a kind face and his grandson stopped to look at me. "This one looks kind and intelligent," said the boy. "Can we buy him?" "He's old," said the farmer. "I'm sure he used to be a good horse, but there's not much he can do now." "He's not as old as he looks," said the man who took me to the market. "He was used for driving taxis and became ill. With a little rest, he'll be a good horse again." The farmer thought for a time, then decided to buy me. His grandson was delighted. My new owner was called Mr. Thorogood. He took me to a large field, and I was given good food every day. The grandson, Willie, looked after me very well. When spring came, I felt strong again, and they let me pull a small carriage. "I'm pleased we bought this one," said Mr. Thorogood. "He's a good horse, and not old at all." The old farmer wanted to find me a place where I could work, and took me to the home of Miss Bloomfield. She lived with her 2 sisters. "We need a new horse," she said, "but this one does not look very well. Look at his knees." "He has had a difficult past, I'm sure," said the farmer, "but you won't find a better horse than this. Try him. If you don't like him, I'll take him back." In the morning, a young man came to take me to their home. He looked at me. "He has a white foot and a white star on his forehead, like Black Beauty," he said. "Gosh, I think it is Black Beauty. Do you remember me? I'm Joe Green, the boy who made you ill." I remembered the small boy, not this tall, strong man, but I knew it was Joe, and I was happy to see him again. "I can see that not everyone has treated you well," he said, "but you're a good horse. We should keep you, that's for sure." Joe told the women that I was once Squire Gordon's favourite horse, and when they took me for a drive, I knew they were pleased with me. I have lived in this happy place for a year. Joe is now very good at looking after me. My work is easy, and I feel strong and healthy again. So here my story ends.